Hey there. So I had my follow-up appointment again with my surgeon and also got my CT scan results back. And so far everything looks good. My CT scan was pretty normal. He said obviously there was no signs of injury or damage of any kind that could be potentially causing more of a problem for me. There is still some, I guess, residual fluid buildup right now in my pelvis. Obviously, that's going to cause some swelly belly and cause some discomfort and pain. He says that I'm just on the slower end of recovery for my surgery, and then that's okay and that's normal. That they couldn't really see the veins in the CT scan, but that's actually kind of normal for CT scans. You can't always see them. They're not as precise, not like when I go to the vascular surgeon and I have them have their ultrasound techs, because they are trained to use the ultrasound to look specifically for certain things with my veins. So for right now, he thinks I'm just on the slower end. I just need to be listening to my body. I just need to be resting. I came home, I had to lay down and crawl back into bed because it just was, a busy morning for me. And he, was checking everything, and that kind of pissed everything off. So I'm a little sore, I'm a little swollen, so I'm just going to rest. I got a snack and water, and I'm in bed resting. He's going to see me again at my 6 to 7 week mark, check everything again then, and then hopefully what I'll be able to be is basically released back to somewhat normal activity levels by then. I still have to wait 10 weeks before I can do the bow chicka bow wow. I know, maybe you don't need to know all about my personal life, right? But for those of you that are following me because you're learning about this, that's basically because of my vaginal cuff. Things have to heal completely, and so I have to make sure that it heals completely. So other than that, he did say right now that I can try to start lifting things, because I was on a lifting limitation of nothing over 25 pounds. He said now I can try to lift things if I want, but if I hurt, I have to immediately stop. So it's just basically, listening to my body. If Landon wants to me to carry him, he said he would prefer for Landon to try to crawl into my arms from like a standing level versus me like picking him up, and see how I do there, like holding him and then maybe walking around a little bit and see how I feel. So it's just baby steps and just making sure I'm just, taking baby steps. Right now it's just kind of a more like physically I'm feeling, better, and my energy levels are slowly coming back. I feel like I'm making that turn that I keep hearing other women talk about. You kind of make a turn for kind of like the upswing a little bit, and things start moving in a more positive direction. I'm feeling more human. Has been what I've been saying to people. I'm like, I feel more human. Probably because I'm not on as much pain medication. I had to take some this morning because I was so sore. But I'm usually not really having to take anything except for maybe at the end of the day. I don't know. Right now it's more of like the emotional stuff. Things are kind of starting to settle in. Things that I wasn't even really thinking about until I now went through this. So obviously I'm dealing with that feeling of, okay, I'm really not going to have any more kids. That is, and I'm sure it's going to take a while for that one to even fully settle in. I'm sure I'll still have moments. There's moments where I'm like, I see someone's posts come through my news feed, and they'll be talking about, that they just found out they're pregnant, or they just delivered, or their, pregnancy stuff. And sometimes I'm really excited about it, and then other times it like will out of nowhere I kind of will start to cry. So I'm adjusting to those feelings of that, that trying to settle in. I've been experiencing this feeling, and I couldn't really put my finger on it of what it was, but it was this basically a feeling of I don't feel like a woman. almost. I don't know how to explain it. Like, because that's something that's so a part of you as a woman. So it was just kind of weird all of a sudden. I was feeling not as feminine or womanly. I don't even know how to explain it. I started having fears of what if my husband doesn't look at me the same way? My husband is 6 years younger than me. So I'm 35, he's 29. So I just kind of started having I was having nightmares about him basically saying to me he didn't want to be with me anymore because he really wanted to have more kids and he was too young for such a huge life altering change like this for him to not have any more kids. So I was having nightmares about that. I've been having fears of at the 10-week mark, what is that going to be like for us? Would he notice a change? Like, that is freaking me out a little bit. The fear of, will my vaginal cuff will that heal properly? Will that be strong enough? Will that like what does that mean? Like, stuff like that. Like, it's really weird. Like, and the sutures in there, get this. So my vaginal cuff sutures, those are in there for like 3 months. That's how slow they dissolve. He's like, they're in there for like 3 months before they actually fully dissolve. And I was like, whoa, because I was wondering that, like, well, are they going to go in there and like take them out? Like, what happens? And he's like, no, it takes like 3 months. I was like, dang. He's like, it takes a long time for that to really like the scar tissue to build up and really hold tight, which is obviously what we want because there's nothing now in between this. The cervix is like a really, it basically holds everything in place, and now it's not there. So, there's, issues with that. You got to worry about that. So obviously, sorry, maybe this was a little bit more TMI, but hey, I'm trying my best to be as open and honest about all of this, even if it means that I'm talking about my vagina, and I kind of shared a little bit about my personal life a little bit, but it is what it is. I mean, this is life. This is what happens, and I want women to hear all of it and know all of it, so that they are fully prepared. That, some of these thoughts, if you're in a hysterectomy recovery right now and you're having these thoughts, they're normal. I mean, I'm having all sorts of weird, fears and concerns and thoughts of how my body will change now. I know it seems weird, right? It's an organ inside my body. Why would I think my husband would look at me and not think I'm sexy anymore? But this was like an honest fear that I had. Like, I almost was like thinking, I was like, how you hear those stories about like how we like put off pheromones, right? On a primal level, like you put off pheromones, of which, it's like animals, and they say like we pick up each other's smells or whatever. And like you're attracted sometimes to people like on a very like chemical level. And so I started having like this fear. It was totally ridiculous. I know it's kind of ridiculous, but I told my husband, I was like, what if you're just like on a chemical like weird level, like I'm not putting off the pheromone now that I'm like a fertile myrtle, and like you on like a male like primal level like doesn't look at me then as like the like child bearer, like, right? It sounds kind of like I'm laughing at it now, like it seems kind of silly when I say it, like as I'm saying it to you guys, I'm like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing. But in the moment, like it was real, like I was freaking out, like, oh my god. So I'm saying it all, no matter how silly or embarrassed I may be to it all, and I'm probably blushing like crazy, and my husband's gonna go like, really, did you have to be that honest and share all of that? Like, great. My poor husband. Sorry, babe, if you're watching this. Sorry. But thanks again for all your support. Just wanted you to know where I'm at right now. Like I said, at the 6 to 7 week mark, if I'm still really not improving, he said the next step was just to, I'd see my vascular surgeon again and just see how my veins are doing, and also be sending me over to physical therapy and just kind of probably help because sometimes you almost get like phantom pains. Your nervous system is so used to sending off pain, 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 that sometimes the receptors, they can't turn off basically, and they're just constantly going off. And so physical therapy can kind of help basically get my nervous system not going haywire, and registering pain, pain, pain all the time. So we'll see. I'll keep obviously vlogging and sharing with you how things are going. And thank you so much for your continued support and love. And I'll talk to you more soon. Bye.